Let's go ahead and set up self-service password reset in Azure Active Directory. So we'll navigate to Azure AD, and we have an option for password reset. It's pretty simple to do. You can see right now it's turned off, so it's enabled for nobody. I can enable it for selected users, so I can use users or I can use groups, but we're going to turn it on for everybody. So anyone with a user account is enabled for self-service password reset. Save that. Step 2 is we now need to configure the methods of authentication that are supported so that they can actually perform this task. So we're going to choose two options. We've got some options for a mobile phone. We can also do the traditional security questions. And then we got some choices on the types of questions that we want to use. So for example, I'm going to say you need to have 5 questions registered, and then you have to have 3 of those answered correctly in order to successfully reset your password. And then I configure the questions I want to use. Now, what's included is a list of predefined questions. So these are, typical, any website you might have gone to where you have this notion of, have your security questions so you can reset your password. I just picked the first 5, and then I added a custom one, which is my cost center number. So you can have these sort of standard, what's your favorite food, what's your middle name type questions, but you can also ask role specific or organization specific questions that only maybe a valid employee would know, like their cost center number or their manager's alias, or anything really that you can think of. So we'll save those. And we'll save that. I'm just going to remove the mobile phone here as an option. And we're just going to go just the security questions in this particular example. Notifications is who gets notified if a password reset occurs. So if a password reset is done, the user will receive an email. So if they didn't do it, now they'll know someone reset their password. And also you can notify admins when other admins reset their passwords. So anyone who's an administrator will know that, hey, some other administrator reset their password. There's some other customization options, for example, a custom help desk link, how to get to your help desk. And then also, if you have Azure Active Directory sync enabled and you're syncing with an on-premises Windows Server Active Directory, you can propagate those password changes back down into your on-premises Active Directory. Assuming you've got Azure AD Connect installed and everything's configured properly, it just gives you that option to push the password changes from Azure to Windows Server Active Directory, as opposed to them just being from Windows Server Active Directory being pushed up into Azure. So that's all it takes to set it up. Once it's set up configured, we're going to go ahead and log on as a user now. So we'll go to let's open a new private browser window, go to the Azure portal. Let's take a look at what this experience looks like now for a user that's logging on. So this is a brand new user account. So the first thing it's going to do is prompt me to reset the password. We're going to set a new password. And now it's going to prompt me for this additional information that's required in order for self-service password reset to be enabled. So we'll click next on that. And so I've now got to set up my security questions. You can see I've got 5 here that I've got to generate answers for. My cost center number. What city did I meet my spouse or partner? Where did my parents meet? And I'm just putting the same answer in for all of these. Just to be simple. And if you haven't guessed, I live in Tampa. And I'll save these answers. Oops, I'm going to let them be identical. I did not realize that. And we'll click Finish. So I've now logged in. So let's say that I happen to forget my password. So we're going to sign out. And sign back in as this user account. And I don't remember my password at this point, so I'm going to click Forgot My Password. Verify that I'm not a robot. And so now I go through the process of answering my security questions. And now, coincidentally enough, I don't quite remember which city I used for which, so we're going to do our best here. And we'll see if we get these right. Let's try this one more time. And I believe I've got it right. There we go. So now, because I've answered the security questions, I can now go ahead and set a new password. And there we go. So there you have it, setting up and enabling self-service password reset.